little green. Get some green light. Need you do it. Yeah, not really much green light. Need to be higher. Welcome, fellow believers, if you're tuning in. We are live, but the show hasn't started yet. I'm still setting up. So give me a minute. If you're there, I will be live with you very shortly. Because I don't have a stand for that damn light. It's terrible. Why is it not going higher than? Here we go. 100%. Let's put it on. That should do the trick. Yes. All right. Alex will be proud of my makeshift light stand. All right, bear with me. I will be with you guys in a minute, and we will get started. Moments away, folks. right. Apologies, Boo Believers. Bit of a late start. Some technical difficulties taking care of. My edits crashing while I'm trying to get some editing done, while also prepping to do the live and eat dinner. So here we are. About to get started. I got my checklist. Check. 1, 2. There we go. All right, now you guys can hear the bands that are playing right down the hall. At least you should be able to. And you should be able to hear me pretty well, thanks to the new Zoom podcast P4 PodTrack P4 Next. That's what I am using tonight for the audio. Oh, got to turn down our volume here on our laptop so you guys don't get that bouncing back in on you. And yeah, all right. I guess we're about ready to go here. Let me bring up a couple other. I guess I'll bring up the YouTube page, and I'll share the live link to Facebook as well. I'll probably catch a ban or something for it, but we'll give it a shot. Oh, that shouldn't say live test. That should just say live. Look at that. I'll have to edit that. All right, let's get back here. Update all. That should update. There we go. Deadsville Horror Talk live. Not a test. So thank you guys for tuning in. You can join me in the chat on YouTube. I will be monitoring the chat there. I'm going to share the link now to Facebook, where a lot of the following is. Oh, you son of a bitch. Putting it in the wrong. Delete. Nope, don't want that. Copy link back here. All right. Guess I'll drop it in a couple groups as well. All right. All right, let's get this show on the road, Boo Believers. Hit record on our pod tracker so that I capture all the audio. I don't have to rip this off of YouTube. Greetings, Boo Believers. Welcome to Deadsville Horror Talk Live. I'm your host, Ronin James. And for the next hour-ish, we are going to talk about the latest horror headlines. So break out your phones or laptops if you want to follow along with some of the articles I'm going to be reading. We will tend to get our news from websites like, from iHorror and Bloody Disgusting, Horror News Network, Joe Blow, Fangoria, the big ones. So if you want to follow along, most of them are coming from Bloody Disgusting tonight that we're going to take a look at. And then we have a couple on Fangoria and a couple on the Horror News Network. So if you want to follow along, you can bring up those tabs on your laptop or phone. I have them on my laptop here, and I will share screen when we go to them. Before we jump into that, though, if you're new here to Deadsville Horror Talk, I am your host, Ronin James. I am a veteran stuntman, over 20 years in the business. I have been in things like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Escape Plan 2, The Tick, The Tick on Amazon, I should say, because there's been a couple of them. I've been in Netflix The Punisher. I got to teach John Bernthal how to headbutt me on that one. So I've been around, and you've definitely seen me before in a movie or TV show. I've done a lot of police procedurals. I worked in New York a lot, so you've seen me on Blue Bloods, Person of Interest, things like that. Usually I play a thug. Rent a thug. That's what stuntmen are. So yeah, you've no doubt seen me before. Most likely getting shot, stabbed, beat up by the hero, something along those lines. The life of a stuntman. So let me get a little more comfortable here. All right. So yes, I every Monday night I am here, 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, going live talking about the latest horror news and updates and stuff that happened the week prior leading up to today. So usually I'll scan some of the websites and find some news stories. I got a list here we'll go through, and you can always check out our reviews. We do weekly reviews, usually on the most recent theatrical releases. But if there's nothing new in the theaters, we will dip into the cult classics and do some stuff from back in the day. My co-host Alexandra Surface and I just recently did a review of Friday the 13th Part 3 in real 3D, as the Regal Cinemas returned Friday the 13th to the theaters this year, because there's 3 Friday the 13th, and on the second Friday the 13th of the year, they played Part 3, and it was, I guess, remastered in real 3D, as opposed to the old red and blue glasses 3D that that I saw it originally in the 80s. Yes, I'm that old. But yeah, it was pretty cool seeing it in real 3D, much updated, visuals. Visually, it was much better looking 3D than I remember seeing in the theater in those red and blue glasses as a kid. So it was a good time. And if you want to hear our review of it, Alex had never seen it before at all. And I'd seen it probably 50 times. So we have that that dynamic going on, as well as the 3D, the real 3D experience overall. So you could check that out. We also just released, Steph Infection and I went and saw Vampires of the Velvet Lounge, a very limited release vampire movie starring Mina Suvari as the Countess Elizabeth Bathory, who leads a coven of vampires, and they trap men using dating apps in the modern age in Savannah, Georgia. And it was a very pretty film. Some very great scenery, great cinematography, cool special effects. Mina Suvari was awesome. Story could have been a little better, but check out our review for the full take on it. Steph Infection and I saw that one, so you can go check out on the latest. Go check out the latest episode on any of the streaming platforms where you stream podcasts, with the exception of Spotify. We don't do Spotify here, so you can check us out on Podcast Addict, and Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, of course, Amazon Audio, and Deezer, Tidal, a bunch of other places. Mainly our audience comes from Podcast Addict and also on Apple Podcasts. So those are the big places to find us. And Podbean, if you have the Podbean app, we are based on Podbean. That's where everything kind of launches from. So you can follow us on Podbean as well if you listen to your podcast there. All right, like, subscribe. If you are watching this now, obviously on YouTube, or if you're catching the replay, make sure you ding the bell so you get up-to-date notifications on when we release new content. All right, enough of that call to action, social media stuff. I'm going to get into some stories here, and while I do, I'm going to have one tasty beverage here. This is a Hey Now root beer, THC infused root beer, and this is 10 milligrams of THC and 10 milligrams of CBD. And I stopped drinking alcohol probably 6 months ago-ish, since I discovered these THC drinks, and I love them. No hangover. And they put me in a nice social mood, so cracking this open here. I love a good root beer. I stopped drinking soda a long time ago. So having some of these root beers, and they make a nice tea, a peach tea. There's seltzers, all kinds of stuff. All right. Hey Now root beer. All right, okay. So let's jump into our stories here. Over here, the big one. I guess there is a lot of talk about Ready or Not 2. So, we'll jump over to some Ready or Not 2 stories. First of all, let's find... there was something about the... There we go. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Here it is, the box office. That's what we want, because that tells us whether we're getting more or not. I'll bring up the share screen here. I am broadcasting through restream, so makes things a bit easier. And there we go. So yes, now you should have a split screen. Let's see, where is it? There it is. There we go. I like that setup. That's nice. You still get a nice big me, and you get the story there. That's a nice picture-in-picture kind of setup. I dig it. Okay, so come on. There we go. Ready or Not 2, here I come. Opening weekend box office hits $9.1 million. Samara Weaving and Catherine Newton are blood-soaked sisters in the fight for their lives in Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, once again directed by the filmmaking team known as Radio Silence. How did Ready or Not 2 fare at the opening weekend box office? Ready or Not 2, Here I Come debuted in the number 4 spot at the domestic box office this weekend, making $9.1 million in the United States and a total of $11.9 million thus far worldwide. The horror sequel faced stiff competition in the form of both Hoppers and the Ryan Gosling starring Project Hail Mary, but the good news for the film is that the reviews were strong heading into the weekend. Ready or Not 2 is certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes with a 75% score from critics and a 90% score from audiences, which no doubt helped sell some tickets. The other good news, the reported production budget for Ready or Not 2 Here I Come was just $14 million, so Searchlight Pictures should be able to turn a profit when all is said and done. That being said, it's unlikely that Ready or Not will become a trilogy at this point. The first sequel usually determines whether or not a two-movie saga becomes a full-blown franchise, so it's probably smart for Radio Silence to wrap things up with their 7 years later sequel. And if you've seen Here I Come, well, it's pretty clear that was their intention all along. Yes, I have seen it, and yeah, they were wrapping it up. So the first Radio Not movie was indeed released in theaters 7 years ago, which feels like a lifetime these days. It debuted to $8 million in the United States and went on to make $28.7 million domestically and $57.6 million worldwide. Heights the sequel is unlikely to reach. Very true. Very true. That was tough competition this weekend because I know a lot of people went and saw Project Hail Mary. Hoppers, I guess, was getting the younger viewers, and Project Hail Mary was the big blockbuster that was going to bring all the normies to the theater this week. I'm sorry. So, yeah, it was tough competition for Ready or Not to release too. Let's see. It doesn't help the movie's case that Warner Brothers is releasing They Will Kill You, starring Zazie Beetz, in theaters this coming weekend, which looks very similar to the Ready or Not films. Yes, it does, and I'm looking to that one as well. Looking forward to that one as well, as the action looks really, really good. Looks like it's shot by somebody who really knows how to shoot action, and yeah, looks like the performers really trained and rehearsed a lot of these sequences. There's a lot of fight stuff, so I look forward to They Will Kill You. But yes, there was a time when Ready or Not 2 and They Will Kill You were set to release on the very same day, but Searchlight Pictures made the smart decision to bump up Ready or Not 2. And stay tuned for updates on They Will Kill You's box office performance. And this is from John Squires on Bloody Disgusting. So yes, solid performance, but again, they're going up against a couple heavy hitters. Hoppers was going to bring in a lot of the family audience. Not that kids were coming to see Ready or Not 2, but it was going to make a lot of money. You knew that, so it was going to be tough to beat a family movie like Hoppers, and then Project Hail Mary being the Ryan Gosling epic that it is. Yeah, that's tough. Maybe they should have pushed this back a week instead of, or maybe up 2 weeks. Either way, I saw it, and Steph didn't see it. Haley and I saw it, and Alex saw it, and I did a spoiler-free review on it. Steph is going to see it this week, and we will do a full 4-person review on it very soon for Deadsville Horror Talk. But I'll tell you, I really dug it. I thought it was awesome. I loved Samara Weaving. I love Catherine Newton. Thought they were great together. Their chemistry as estranged sisters, kind of rebuilding the bridge, is really solid. And the supporting cast is really good too. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Sarah Michelle Gellar. So seeing Buffy in anything is always good, but she plays a villain in this one, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, I haven't seen Buffy play a villain as much, so that was a good time. And we also have Elijah Wood, who plays the lawyer. And it's funny, I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but you know, the whole thing's about a satanic Illuminati family, like multiple families involved in this satanic Illuminati. And the head of the families wears a ring. So, you know, there's a scene, or a couple scenes, but one in particular where Elijah Wood holds up the ring, and he's like, the ring, and it's just like very reminiscent of Lord of the Rings with his, Bagginses. So there's definitely a bit of that at play there. But yeah, he was also excellent. Sean Haddisey's great. Plays another great villain. All the characters are really solid. I think there's a lot of them in this one, though. I think that was probably because, again, it's a sequel, and the sequel to a movie that took place 7 years ago. But I watched the original a few days before going to see this one, knowing that I'm going to see it again. Hadn't watched it in a minute, and Alex hadn't seen it yet, so we watched it. And yeah, the original, man, it's almost a perfect movie. It's so good. So it's tough to top that. Sequels are always a tough balancing act of, you want to at least, you want to match the energy from the original, but with something like Ready or Not, there's a lot of tension build up at the beginning, because Grace doesn't know that she's in this game of life or death through most of the first act in the first movie. So there's a lot of tension building there that gets released once you get to the actual game. That doesn't happen in the sequel. We already know. She already knows. We already know. Everybody already knows. So, and we know that there's another game on the way. So they just kind of drop you right into it. So there's a little bit less of an impact there with the tension. There's no tension buildup or anything there. Maybe a little bit with the sister involved, but for the most part, you get a different start because you just kind of jump right in with your, both feet already knowing what's going on. And then the family, you had one family in the first one, and they were quirky as hell and a ton of fun. And then in this one, there's like 4 families, and there's multiple members, and there's a lot of people, so there's a lot of characters. So there's a lot to do with a lot of them. So you don't get as much fleshing out, and it definitely. I hate to say it suffers from sequelitis because this movie doesn't suffer. It's an awesome movie, and whereas the original's a 9.5, I give the sequel an 8.5. It's still like 8.5 is still outstanding, but it's just really tough to reach that. To reach that height that the original did when it set the bar that high. Because when the original came out, it was that, and there was another movie called The Hunt that did this whole rich elitists hunting poor people kind of thing. So now we're getting a ton of it. Like they said, They Will Kill You comes next week, and I can't wait to see that one as well. So I'm here for it. But the box office, solid enough, but I don't think because Radio Silence is now getting ready to do The Mummy 4, so I don't think they really wanted to do a trilogy with this. They kind of wanted to end it with just the 2 movies, because yes, they are moving on to the epic franchise, The Mummy, and doing the next sequel for The Mummy 4, so they're going to spend the next 2 years on that one as it comes out in 2028. So, all right, let's see what else we have on here. Bloody Disgusting while we're here. Let me come back. Oh, well, here's another one on Ready or Not from Fangoria. We'll jump over to Fango because we have, let me make sure you guys are seeing the same thing. Yep, Ready or Not 2 is the bloodiest movie Samara Weaving and Catherine Newton have ever made. And they have a lot to choose from. That they do. So this is on Fangoria by Angel Melanson. Samara Weaving and Catherine Newton have spent much of their careers absolutely covered in blood. The duo has amassed quite the collection of blood-soaked horror movies under their belts, from Weaving in Mayhem, The Babysitter, and Ready or Not to Newton's roles in Abigail and Freaky. Both Weaving and Newton seem to gravitate towards characters who find themselves in goopy situations. So what's their personal bloody best? The absolute bloodiest they've ever been in a movie? Weaving is quick to answer, giving the Radio Silence franchise the top spot. Oh, Ready or Not for sure. Newton agrees. I'm sorry. Oh, Ready or Not for sure. Newton agrees it's the same for her as well. I think it's probably Ready or Not. I was covered in goo in Abigail, so you'd think that was it, but I don't know what that was. That was everything. It was guts and stuff. This is bloody. This is the most blood every day. Yeah. So if we take goo and guts out of the equation and examine the volume of blood from a purist perspective, Ready or Not 2 is their bloodiest work yet. In Newton's words, it takes the cake. Weaving paused to question, what does that say about Ready or Not directors Tyler and Matt? Without missing a beat, Newton was ready with an answer. There's something wrong with them. Sick freaks, added Weaving in a total deadpan. Newton noted, and they're always smiling. Too happy. Okay, more blood. That's fun. This is why I like these guys. Bonnie Tyler's 80s power ballad Total Eclipse of the Heart plays a prominent role in Ready or Not 2, but what would Weaving and Newton choose as their personal final girl fight songs? Newton previously picked Gary Newman's Cars when we last chatted for Abigail. Catherine Newton says, it's like imagine that beat like a stab every time. And Samar says, yeah, that's a good one. Catherine says, should we go Enya or Ludwiko and Wadi? Are we going Beethoven all of a sudden? Samara says, I like that one. I like the one that The Matrix uses in the trailer. Who's it by? It's about Alice in Wonderland. The Jefferson Airplane. Go ahead, Alex. White Rabbit. That's a tune, man. That would be good. That's good. That's probably the one. So there you go. They're talking about songs they would like to be final girls to. And there's another one going a different direction. Some Rihanna, like Shine Bright Like a Diamond. And Catherine Newton also picked Porcelain by Moby for some B-roll, I guess, of herself. Interesting. Some interesting choices. But if you've seen Ready or Not 2, Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart is a very fitting, very fitting theme song for the sisters. So, very cool. Their bloodiest movie ever, Ready or Not 2, in theaters now. And yeah, definitely go to the theater and check that one out. Support horror movies. Oh, Kevin Shave jumping in. What's up, Kevin? I will post the show this on the stream. There we go. I can probably stop that share there. Kevin asks, have you watched Marshmallow? It was kind of a fun movie. Actually, Kev, I did watch Marshmallow kind of recently. And I dug the twist. I was like, when they hit that twist, and I won't give it away here, but yeah, there's a twist in there that's really interesting. Like it sets you up the whole time, like it's like a summer camp slasher, and yeah, really interesting twist in there. I dug it. I fell asleep watching it because I put it on really late one night when I got back home after editing all night, and I turned it on while I was watching TV before bed, and laid my head down and fell asleep. But I remembered the next day, I was like, damn, I put it on when I got here to the studio to finish watching it because it definitely had my attention. And I remember I fell asleep before like the action started happening. And when I woke up, the killer was like chasing them around the camp. So I was like, oh, he's cool looking. I got to watch this again. So yes, Marshmallow was a good fun camp slasher horror. Yeah, definitely worth checking out. It's from last year, and I know it made some people's top 10 lists last year. I didn't watch it last year. I don't know if it would make my top 10 still, but definitely worth a watch. And I think it's streaming now free on, I want to say Amazon. I feel like it was Amazon. Maybe it was Hulu? I don't know. Kev, if you remember where it's streaming, put it up in the chat and I'll let people know. But yes, Marshmallow was a fun time and very cool twist at the end of Marshmallow. I did not see it coming. So, very cool. All right. Got a couple other people here, looks like. Feel free to check in the comments, folks. Let me know what you've watched recently, if it's horror or horror adjacent, something I maybe haven't seen yet. Ready or Not 2 we can talk about if you've seen that one. Trying to give any spoilers, though, because it is kind of new still. All right, let's see. Oh, you know what? I want to go to... Well, you know what? Let's jump to this one. Let me see. I'm going to close that out. And bring up another share screen. Jump back over here. Yes, let's do this one. Netflix announces cast for live-action Scooby-Doo series. Oh, man. Here we go. Where are my Scooby-Doo fans at? Oh, Kevin just checked in. He said he watched it on Amazon. So you can check out Marshmallow on Amazon. I'm pretty sure that's where I watched it as well. Yeah, fun, like camp slasher theme, like vibes, with a twist, with a very interesting twist. So yeah, check out Marshmallow. Good recommendation, Kevin. I dug it. All right, Netflix announces cast for live action Scooby-Doo. What's this all about? This is from Rob Caprilozzi. Hope I pronounced that properly, Rob, on Horror News Network. Meet the Mystery Inc. team. Netflix has rounded out the human side of Mystery Inc., the amateur detective crew at the center of Scooby-Doo. Tanner Hagen of The Pit and Dark Light has been cast as Shaggy Rogers. Abby Ryder Fortson, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, and Carousel, will take on the role of Velma Dinkley, and Maxwell Jenkins, Lost in Space and The Bondsman, is set to play Fred Jones. They previously announced McKenna Grace, who stars as Daphne Blake in the upcoming live-action Scooby-Doo series, according to a report on Deadline. And yes, there's McKenna Grace. Horror fans, we have recently seen her in Scream 7. If you've seen Scream 7, I won't spoil it, but yeah, she has a fun scene. We'll say that. All right. Penned by Josh Applebaum and Scott Rosenberg of Midnight Radio and inspired by characters from Hanna-Barbera, the Scooby-Doo series reimagines the beginnings of Mystery Inc., revealing how the iconic team first united to tackle the eerie case that set everything in motion. And I'm going to tell you, I am usually not a very big fan of origin stories. I mean, especially for characters that are so old. We've kind of done the origin thing a couple times, haven't we? I mean, we've done the origin thing a bunch of times with the Scooby Gang, but I get it. We're going to do a series, live action, start from scratch. All right, let's do an origin story, I guess. Let's see where this goes. Here's the synopsis. During their final summer at camp, old friends Shaggy and Daphne get embroiled in a haunting mystery surrounding a lonely, lost Great Dane puppy that may have been a witness to a supernatural murder. Together with the pragmatic and scientific townie Velma and the strange but ever so handsome new kid Freddy, they set out to solve the case that is pulling each of them into a creepy nightmare that threatens to expose all of their secrets. Da-da-da. I need to set some some sound effects on my podcaster here so I could have some laughter or something when I deliver these spooky lines, so that I don't have to do them myself. Stay tuned to Horror News Network for more on the Scooby-Doo live action series. What do you think, guys? Scooby-Doo live action. I like McKenna Grace. She seems to embrace horror. So I like that. I like an actress or actor who embraces the genre. There's been for a long time, horror has been kind of looked down upon as the bastard stepchild of film genres. Not every actor or actress always wants to be associated with horror. So, some of them don't want to do it at all. Some of them do it, and then they're like, I want to be a real actress and actor or whatever, and don't want to come back to it. They forget the roots. But I like when actors and actresses embrace the genre. So McKenna Grace seems to do that. That's why I love Catherine Newton, Samara Weaving. they seem to embrace it. They kind of relish the whole horror genre, the blood and guts of it, the stunts, the action, the scares. Good stuff. So what do you think? Leave your comments about the new Scooby-Doo series coming to Netflix. Hopefully it's nothing like that Velma series, because holy shit, that was a piece of shit. I will never forgive Mindy Kaling for that. And I try to forget and block out that she exists, but every time some Scooby-Doo stuff comes up, it creeps into the back of my mind. The Mindy Kaling self-insertion Scooby-Doo Velma cartoon. Where Shaggy doesn't smoke weed. Come on, man. Shaggy smokes weed. Speaking of, oh, wait. All right, so we got that one out of the way. Another story down. Netflix Scooby-Doo. Okay, what do we got next over here? I guess let's another one from Horror News Network. We can stay and talk about director Jamie Blanks, who passed away at the age of 54. He was the director of Urban Legend and Valentine, as well as Storm Warning and Long Weekend. So this one's on Horror News Network. Again, Rob Caprolozzi. We have sad news to announce as we have learned that filmmaker Jamie Blanks has passed away. Blanks is best known for directing genre films such as Urban Legend, Valentine, Storm Warning, and Long Weekend. The announcement, which can be seen in full below, was made on Twitter by his family. His death was unexpected, despite some ill health in recent years, and comes at a time when Jamie was preparing to direct another film. He was still very active, supporting other filmmakers and developing his own projects. Anyone who was lucky to know Jamie was immediately struck by his talent, kindness, humanity, generosity of spirit, and boundless enthusiasm for what he did in life, but also, so importantly, for the people around him. This big, beautiful heart of his eventually gave way. We're imagining him now in a better place, chatting up a storm about horror movies and music with many others he loved and admired who have passed before him. Honor him by watching one of his films, or John Carpenter's The Fog, a favorite film that inspired him to become a filmmaker, or listening to one of his music scores. And here we have the Jamie Blanks announcement. Jamie survived by his wife Simone, his son Oliver, his parents, brothers, and a huge extended family of movie fans around the world. We love you so much, Jamie. Fly high, darling, forever here in our hearts. And very nice. Team at Horror News Network send our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Mr. Blanks, as do we here at Deadsville Horror Talk. And I just watched Urban Legend not long ago. Steph Infection and I put it on in the background. Actually, I put it on in the foreground and then put it on in the background again later on. I had to go give Valentine a watch in honor of Jamie Blanks. Rest in peace, sir. Okay. Let's jump back to Bloody Disgusting. We have a couple more stories here that we'll do. We'll go past 9. I got a late start tonight, so we'll keep this going for a little bit. Come on, back it up. There we go. All right. Oh yeah, that's one of the ones that I wanted to look at. There it is. Here we go. This is a Jennifer's Body 2 update, and I know we have some Jennifer's Body fans out there. So if you are a fan of the original, very horror movie, yes. So Diablo Cody currently writing the horror sequel. This comes to us on Bloody Disgusting from John Squires. We have been hearing about a potential Jennifer's Body sequel for the past few years now, with writer Diablo Cody, star Amanda Seyfried, and director Karen Kusama all expressing interest in making Jennifer's Body 2 at various points over the years. The fan base for Karen Kusama's 2009 horror movie Jennifer's Body has grown a whole lot in recent years, with many reevaluating the film and realizing it's got more going for it than it was given credit for back when it first came out. Megan Fox stars as Jennifer in the film, a newly possessed high school cheerleader who specializes in killing her male classmates. And now, over 15 years later, it's being viewed as a feminist revenge movie that was ahead of its time. Yes, I want to do a sequel, Cody told Bloody Discussing in 2024. I am not done with Jennifer's Body. I just need to partner with people who believe in it as much as I do, and that hasn't really happened yet. I need someone to believe in it who has $1 billion. Oh, don't we all, Diablo Cody? We all have. We all have creative visions and just need money. It's the way of art. The people that can't do art have the money, and the people that can do art are broke. So Amanda Seyfried told Variety just last year, we're making another. Seyfried noted in that same chat with Jennifer's Body co-star Adam Brody, I'm not doing it without Megan Fox. But what's the latest on Jennifer's Body 2? According to a report from Dread Central, Diablo Cody revealed during a Q&A panel over the weekend that she's actively writing the film. The outlet reports that Diablo Cody made the announcement during the Storytelling 360 State of the Story panel in Los Angeles over the weekend. This lines up with recent comments made by Jennifer's Body director Karen Kusama in a chat with Deadline. Kusama told Deadline this past October, I know Diablo Cody's working on Jennifer's Body 2 right now, and I'm very excited to hear what comes of it. I know some of the bones of it, so I'm not going to give anything away, but it sounds fun and crazy like the first film, and I have no doubt that Diablo will do something absolutely incredible with it. We assume the plan is for both Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried to return for the Jennifer's Body sequel, but at this time the project is in the early scripting stages, so stay tuned for more. There you go. There's a shot of Jennifer. That's after the concert venue catches on fire early in the movie. Yes, so there you go, Jennifer's Body fans. If you are a Jennifer's Body fan, the sequel is currently being scripted. Interesting. And hey, Steph Infection checking in. What's up, Steph? Checking in the chat. Look at that. I can post your little comment over there. Kevin asking about Marshmallow. Put that one in there. But I know Steph Infection is a Jennifer's Body fan. So are you looking forward to a sequel, Steph? I am. I am a Jennifer's Body fan myself. And yeah, I want a sequel. I want more Amanda Seyfried and Megan Fox, please. Yes. All right. Cross that one off the list. Another story bites the dust. I got a couple more here for you, Boo Believers. Like I said, we'll go a little past 9 because I got a late start while we were setting up and I was getting some dinner, etc. But also rendering crashed on the new episode, on the new podcast review. The video podcast was rendering. So audio is up now. You can go to Podbean or Podcast Addict or Apple Podcast or Amazon Audio, and you can find Deadsville Horror Talk. The latest review is up for Vampires of the Velvet Lounge. And if you haven't seen the movie, don't worry, we do a spoiler-free review before we break into spoilers later in the show. So anytime you have questions about a movie and you wonder whether you should listen to the podcast without it being spoiled, just know that there is a spoiler-free first segment called First Takes that we do. And we give you plenty of warning before we dig deeper and get into spoilers after the first takes are all done. So you can get a completely spoiler-free review even if you haven't seen the movie, and then just pause the podcast and come back later. Okay, let's jump back into another story, another news article. And I'm going to stick with Bloody Disgusting because I got another one. Got a couple people in the chat now who might enjoy this. A little punk rock, little punk rock. Something about, nope, that's not it. Got it up here further. Nope, nope. Where are you? Nope. Was it Bloody Disgusting? Yes, it was on Bloody Disgusting. So where did you go? Sorry, bear with me here a second. Let's jump to this one since it's already here. So, 70s horror throwback Dolly is headed to streaming. And Dolly is one that we went and saw. We really dug. And we wish more people release because people always say that they want new original IPs and that they're sick of Hollywood's remakes and reboots and sequels. Well, and they say, give us something new, and then they give them something new and nobody pays attention to it. And Dolly, that's a shame, especially on this one, because Dolly was really good. Dolly's like a throwback to 70s grindhouse movies, like the old school, not necessarily in the sexploitive way of like I Spit on Your Grave and Last House on the Left and stuff like that, but in that bloody, mean-spirited, gory, grainy, just throw you right into the shit kind of grindhouse way. I loved it. I loved it because it didn't. It let the audience just figure shit out on our own. It didn't spoon feed us a bunch of origin and backstory and any of that stuff. It just put us in this fucked up situation and played it out for us to see. And we had just as much information as the people that were thrown into this. The victims that were thrown into this chaos. So I very much recommend Dolly. And it's coming to stream on Shudder in April. So let's read this little article here on Bloody Disgusting by Alex DiVincenzo. After hitting theaters earlier this month, folk horror slasher Dolly, well, I don't think it's folk horror. I don't find that folky at all. Dolly will stream April 24th exclusively on Shudder. The film draws inspiration from gritty 70s horror like The Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Hills Have Eyes, along with the new French extremity movement that yielded the likes of High Tension and Martyrs. Shot on 16mm film, this is why it looks so gritty and good. Dolly centers on Macy, a young woman fighting for survival after being taken by a deranged, monstrous figure intent on raising her as their child. Fabian Therese from John Dies at the End, Sean William Scott from American Pie, Ethan Suplee from Mallrats, and pro wrestler Max the Impaler star. And I'll be honest, I didn't even recognize Ethan Suplee from Mallrats in the role that he has in this movie. And I know he got jacked after Mallrats, but he was like almost unrecognizable. Just super creepy, super, super creepy. Sean William Scott, awesome job. Haven't seen him in a minute, so it was fun to see him in this. And man, he gets put through the ringer. My man gets put through the ringer. No spoilers, but yes, I know he had a quote about not wanting to do any more horror movies after this one, and after seeing what he went through for this one, I could totally see why. And also, shout out to Max the Impaler. That's Maxine the Impaler, female wrestler. She plays Dolly, our killer. And she's awesome. She's very physical. She's very menacing. Great casting using a female wrestler in this role. Because I'll be honest, when I first saw it, I figured, okay, that's so like menacing and moves like with such physicality. I was like, that's got to be a guy in there. He's so big and like moves like a guy. But no, it's female wrestler Max the Impaler, and yeah, she was amazing. She was awesome. Rod Blackhurst from Night Swim directs from a script he co-wrote with Brandon Weevil based on their 2022 short Baby Girl. Following a successful festival run that included Toronto International Film Festival, Fantastic Fest, Sitges, Telluride Horror Show, and more, a prequel exploring the titular character's origins and mythology is already in development. So yes, we're getting an origin story. I spoke too soon. Trace Thurman wrote in his review, where Dolly falls short in the script or originality departments, it more than makes up for in the technical department, especially in the sound design and the practical gore effects. Every fleshy squelch and bone crack is not only heard, but felt, making the violence hit when it needs to. And I can attest to that, because, it's a very bare bones story, and it's very Texas Chainsaw Massacre inspired, and The Hills Have Eyes inspired, very much so. And again, not a whole lot to the story, but that's the point. This is Grindhouse. The point is to make you squirm. The point is to make you uneasy. And the audio and the practical effects and the visuals and the tension building that's done in this, excellent job. It's really good movie. I definitely recommend seeing this as soon as it comes on Shudder. If you're a Shudder subscriber, or you'll be able to rent it on Amazon VOD or something. So definitely check out Dolly. Dolly's rated R for strong violence, gore, grisly images, language, and some nudity. So yes, and I'm not going to show the trailer. I want to get to a couple more stories, but also trailers get us in trouble. So I don't like to show trailers because they will get me copyright strikes. Oh, wow. I've got some more comments here. Jordan Belize in the chat. Hi, Jordan. Let's see. I'm going to catch up. Hi, are you excited about the new Mummy movie? Can't wait for that to come out and hope the Scorpion King is going to be in it too. Would love to see him again. Yes, we were just talking about the Mummy movie, and we were talking about Ready or Not 2 because it's the same directors, and that was kind of why I felt like they went and did Ready or Not 2 and kind of ended it with 2. They're not going to do a third because they know they have to jump right into doing the Mummy. So I am excited for the Mummy. I love the original. Love Brandon Fraser and Rachel Weisz. So glad that they are both back. No offense to who was it? Monica Bellucci, or forget who it was that replaced Rachel Weisz in the third installment, but yeah, you can't replace Rachel Weisz. Jordan also asks, hi, are you excited for CinemaCon this year and also excited for the G.I. Joe reboot happening? When is another sleepaway camp coming? I haven't heard anything on a sleepaway camp. I have heard about a new Maniac Cop movie in the works, though. I shot a little short on it and haven't gotten to edit that yet, but I think his name's Brad Reffin. He is the director and writer on it, and he the original Maniac Cop director is executive producer on the remake, and he said that the script is done, I believe, and that they're just waiting for the time that this new director has to film it. So we will get a Maniac Cop remake. All right, let me jump back over here. Thanks for joining us, Jordan, in the chat as well. We do talk the Mummy here a bunch too, so I don't know if we're going to see the Scorpion King. Maybe. I mean, maybe some flashbacks with The Rock. He hasn't. I guess he's kind of done a couple things lately, but I haven't seen as much. I think people got rocked out. So After Black Adam, I think people got a little rocked out, and we haven't had any rock lately. So maybe he'll make his return as the Scorpion King. That might not be a bad way for him to get back into the good graces of the public again. All right, I want to find this other story now because it sounded interesting from the headline, and it was like another punk rockers horror movie. Where is it? Here it is. There we go. This was 11 hours ago. All right, let me go and share this with you guys so you can see what I'm reading. This one's on Bloody Disgusting as well. So kind of sticking with Bloody Disgusting here for a minute. I'm going to close the chat so you guys can see me. And there we go. No, that's not what I wanted. Why did you take me there? No, I didn't click on that one. Oh my God. There's a couple more stories I'd like to get to. If we can get to this one, because I really want to talk. Really operating. Okay, here I am. I'm now click the right story. Come on. Come on. Oh my God, it's not doing anything. Come on. Oh my God. I'm about to go back to Horror Network News because they have the story as well. Okay, now my laptop's just not working at all. Come on. No, you son of a bitch. Almost there. There we go. Come on. Open this one up. This is what I want. There it is. Yay. Look at that technology. This is on Horror Network News, or Horror News Network, since the Bloody Disgustings finally do it. Hey, Bloody Disgustings finally went that. Thanks. Vinegar Syndrome's homegrown horror Friars pits punks against vampires. And for my punk rock listening audience, this one's for you. That's why I wanted to get to this. So this is from Alex DiVincenzo on Bloody Disgusting. Although Vinegar Syndrome has been involved in the production of several films, most notably Ryan Coogler's Street Trash remake, Night of the Vamp Friars will mark the first feature wholly produced by the boutique label. Shot on 16mm film. Man, people are really doing the 16mm. That shit's expensive. The bloody love letter to the homegrown horror movies of yesteryear is written, directed, shot, and edited by Vinegar Syndrome's own Curtis M. Spieler, re-director of New York Ninja. In the film, a punk band discovers a hidden cemetery in the woods where a group of friars were killed and buried because the townspeople believed they were vampires. After blood is accidentally spilled on the hallowed ground, the undead friars rise from their graves to seek fresh victims. Abby Arza, Joey Ambrosini, Domenico Puglisi, Madison Grace Plummer, Kai Turner, Miles Dominici, and Frank Wibby star. Spieler produces alongside Amy Holomakoff. Executive producers Ryan Emerson, Joe Rubin, Ralph Stevens, and Ian Stone. Night of the Vamp Friars will have its world premiere at the Chattanooga Film Festival's closing night film in Tennessee on June 27th. The fest previews the world premiere of Curtis M. Spieler's campy and endlessly clever ode to classic vampire cinema, Night of the Vamp Friars, from its spectrally synthy score to its charming practical effects. Vamp Friars is poised to warm the hearts of festival fans, but not before it rips them out of their chests. Stay tuned for more on Night of the Vamp Friars, including a trailer in the coming months. And there's the poster, Night of the Vamp Friars. Cute, clever. There's a shot of some practical skeletons in the mist. Let's see if Horror News has anything else. Yep, same thing. Same news. But yes, very cool shot on 16 millimeter film. Punk rockers. I'm always down for some punk rockers in horror. Classic Return to the Living Dead vibes. So, yeah, that sounds like fun. Night of the Vamp Friars. Check that off of our stories list. We'll go for, let's see, we did Dolly. We got one more. Oh, yeah, we got one more that we'll do before we sign off for the night. So if there's anything else you want to chat about, jump into the comments, say hi, let me know what you're watching tonight or what you've seen recently, what you're looking forward to seeing. All right, last story, and this one I'm going to go back to iHorror for this one. Because we're going old school, baby. It's old school time. Come on. There we go. The Faces of Death remake is already getting its posters banned. And yes, we've talked about the Faces of Death remake a little bit here on Deadsville Horror Talk. I did a little short on it. And those unfamiliar, Faces of Death were a series of VHS tapes in the 80s that featured real life death, some real life death, along with some fabricated bullshit in there too. So you got a little bit of both. You got some real stuff, and then they padded it with some fake stuff. But yes, it was legendary, and it was the tape in the VHS store that, you know, as a kid, if you were, wandered away from your mom and dad, that was the one you went right to and found and looked at, because that was the one that had like banned in 40 countries and all kinds of "this is not good" stuff written all over it. So of course that's what you wanted to look at. That's how we did it in the 80s. So all right, this is on iHorror from Luna Gray. Here's the thing that happened. The marketing campaign for the Faces of Death remake has been deemed too disturbing to display in public. The posters, not the film. The posters advertising the film cannot go up. Too much. The official artwork has been flagged as sensitive content. The trailers keep getting pulled from platforms before enough people have watched them, and Fangoria ran a subscriber cover for the film that they openly acknowledge could not be shown on newsstands or social media without safeguards, calling it, with barely contained delight, a secret handshake for the people already subscribed. This is great. This is marketing at its finest, folks. You can't pay for this kind of publicity. The Faces of Death remake is doing the one thing a Faces of Death remake absolutely needed to do, which is make its marketing campaign indistinguishable from the original film's entire identity. We are 3 weeks from release, and the conversation is already, is this real or is this a stunt? Which is, and I want to be precise here, the exact conversation the 1978 original started and never fully resolved. Exactly. Is this real or is this a stunt? So here we are. These people are not messing around. A brief history of the most infamous VHS in any horror fan's childhood. And here's the poster. And the poster has the sensitive content. This film contains sensitive content, which some people may find offensive or disturbing. Like this is the thing that you get on social media when you have to click on the sensitive content and say that you're okay to look at it. So very clever marketing that their poster includes the blurred kind of thing that's going on with the sensitive content over it. Very clever. If you grew up in a house with a video store membership and slightly inattentive parents, you know the Faces of Death VHS. You might not have watched it. You might have only touched it once quickly, the way you'd touch something you weren't sure was alive. but you knew it was there on a shelf somewhere between the action movies and the foreign films, and its existence changed the atmosphere of the rental section it occupied. How true. It was the most taboo thing in the 80s that you could, that you could come close to. The original 1978 film was a Mondo documentary, or presented itself as one, in which a pathologist narrated footage of human and animal deaths from sources around the world. The marketing claimed it was banned in 46 countries, which was an exaggeration deployed with the confidence of a franchise that had already figured out that the line between banned and enormously popular was thinner than anyone wanted to admit. Some of the footage was real, sourced from news stations and medical archives. Most of it was staged. The film was good enough at blurring that line that entire generations of horror fans watched it and genuinely weren't sure which was which. The film spawned sequels. It was added to the UK's video nasty list. It was refused classification in Australia. A mathematics teacher in California showed it to his class in 1985, and the school district was sued. The Faces of Death franchise managed across its entire run to cause exactly the kind of cultural disruption it advertised, which is more than most horror franchises can claim. Yes. It was quite the phenomenon. That's why I'm kind of glad that it's coming back and they're doing this meta thing with it, which is where we're going now. What the remake is actually doing. Here's another sensitive content poster. April 10, we dare you, the tagline. So good. Oh, man. Daniel Goldhaber and Isa Mazet are directing and writing, which is the casting choice that makes this project make sense. Their 2018 film Cam, about a cam girl who discovers a doppelganger has taken over her account, is a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes and one of the more genuinely unsettling explorations of identity and the internet that the genre has produced. Goldhaber followed it with How to Blow Up a Pipeline, which is a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is a filmmaker with a very specific interest in what technology does to the line between performance and reality, which is precisely the question Faces of Death has always been asking. Barbie Ferreira stars as a content moderator for a major video platform who discovers what appears to be reenactments of murders from the original Faces of Death. The question she has to answer, and the question the film is asking the audience alongside her, is whether what she's watching is fiction or happening in real time. In 1978, that question required some effort to construct. In 2026, where AI can generate convincing footage of anything and the algorithm serves you progressively darker content until you aren't sure what you've been looking at or how you got there, the question is ambient. It's already in the air before the movie starts. The cast also includes Darcy Montgomery, Josie Toda, Jermaine Fowler of The Blackening and most recently Night Patrol. Love Jermaine Fowler. Aaron Holiday and Charlie XCX, who apparently looked at her current cultural moment everywhere, inescapable, the year's defining pop presence, and thought, yes, now is the time to appear in a movie about snuff films. Correct. The marketing is the movie's first scene. And yes, here we go. More sensitive content. Film contains sensitive content. April 10, we dare you. And yeah, it looks like somebody being smothered. There's blood in there, it looks like. Yep. This is the part that I find genuinely interesting from a craft standpoint, so bear with me for a moment while I have a brief thought. The original Faces of Death worked because its marketing was indistinguishable from its content. The VHS box was disturbing. The premise was disturbing. The claim that it was banned in dozens of countries was disturbing. You hadn't watched a single frame, and it had already done something to you. What Goldhaber and Mazzy have engineered here, whether deliberately or by necessity, is a marketing campaign that operates the same way. The posters can't go up publicly. The trailers keep disappearing. The Fangoria cover is behind a content warning. You're already navigating access restrictions before you've bought a ticket, which is exactly what the film is going to be about. A woman hitting content moderation walls while trying to determine what she's actually looking at. The movie is about the architecture of restricted access. The campaign is an exercise in restricted access. Either this is the most coherent piece of film marketing in recent memory, or it is a series of coincidences that landed perfectly. Either way, it is working, and April 10th feels further away than it should. Should you be excited? Hell yeah. And there's a great shot. Is that from I think that's from the original. Peeling the head back, the scalp back. Should you be excited? Yes, conditionally, with the acknowledgement that Faces of Death carries a specific legacy that cuts in multiple directions and not all of them are comfortable. The original film included real footage of real deaths, and the line between transgressive art and exploitation of actual human suffering is a line the franchise has always sat directly on top of, deliberately, and refused to move off. Whether Goldhaber's version handles that with the intelligence his previous work suggests it will, or whether it slips into the kind of nihilistic, shock for shock's sake territory the original sometimes inhabited, it's genuinely unknown. What is known is that the people making it have thought seriously about these questions before, that the cast is good, that the premise is sharply constructed for the current moment, and that the campaign has already demonstrated they understand what they're doing. April 10th, theaters and Shudder. You weren't supposed to see this. You already have. And there you go. The video is age restricted and only available on YouTube. So you can go watch the Faces of Death trailer. And yeah, I'm loving the posters. The posters are awesome. It's a great marketing campaign. Oh yeah, here's these posters, but can't put them out, so they don't have to spend any money on marketing. They just tell you in interviews that they're not allowed to put these posters up, and now everybody goes and finds them because they want to see these posters that aren't allowed to be promoted. So very clever marketing. Jump back over here. What do you think, Boo Believers? Faces of Death. Do you guys remember Faces of Death? I don't know if any of you, I don't know how old everybody is out there, but I definitely remember Faces of Death. I was a kid of the 80s. So, all right. I guess we're at about an hour, so that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for the couple people that joined in the chat tonight. Kevin and Jordan and Steph. Thank y'all for popping in and saying hi. Let me know what you're watching, what you're looking forward to. Be sure if you're listening to this replay on any of the streaming platforms that you like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff on our YouTube page at Deadsville 13. You can find us on all the social medias. I'm Deadsville Ronin. You'll find me all over the place. Ronin James Greene, stuntman. You can go check out my IMDb too if you want to see some of the things that you've seen me in and probably don't even realize it. I used to shave my head and my hair's really long now, so I looked a lot different back when I was doing a lot of the stunt stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy and all that. So, all right, that's going to do it, Boo Believers. Thanks again for another Deadsville Horror Talk Live. Make sure you check out all the latest reviews and all my content, my shorts and reels, where I keep you up to date with the latest happenings in horror. That's going to do it for now. Until next time, Boo Believers, stay spooky.